Hi, my name is Shawn Taylor. That's my friend Jesse Lobbs, whose names I may or may not be saying on the show. Welcome to Pokemalarkey. This is episode 24 worldwide, episode 23 for us American folk over here who are scared of seeing boobs on TV. And we are so excited to talk about this episode. It's a very exciting cap to a very exciting trilogy of episodes, and it's called Haunter vs. Kadabra. And you can kind of guess where this one's going. But before we get into that magnificent quote-unquote fight, Jesse, how are you? And would you care to share a little bit of what you've been doing recently?
Shawn, I'm doing great. I am living my best Halloween life. Pokemalarkey fans will know I have a soft spot in my heart for James, my flamboyantly gay brother from Pokemon. At work, we're doing a Halloween party, and I have my James costume all teed up, ready to go. So that's exciting. Apart from that, I'm just I'm keeping with the spooky theme. I'm reading some spooky short stories for a book club, and I've been watching Moriarty the Patriot, which is a really fascinating take on Sherlock Holmes' arch rival, where it paints him as the actual good guy, and Sherlock Holmes is just an indifferent asshole. It's a great anime. It's very fun. If you're a dub fan, you'll be disappointed because there's not one. But it's worth the sub. It's worth reading. Lots of spookiness, mystery, lots of fun. So if you love mystery, Moriarty the Patriot's for you. And I hope you all have a great Halloween costume lined up. What about you, Shawn? Do you have a Halloween costume? Are you going to scare any kids who knock at your door?
I do, and you're going to laugh at me, but that's the point. First of all, this episode will release on YouTube on October 30th and maybe like the 28th or the 29th on podcast. So happy Halloween. Please have fun, be safe. My costume and what I've been doing and plotting it is really stupid, but I like it. My mom has a weird infatuation with Nicolas Cage, and I don't know why. I don't think he's particularly handsome myself, but whatever. So I have a suit and a framed Declaration of Independence.
No,
and it's for my mom, Jesse. You have to cut me a little slack here.
No, that's amazing, Shawn.
Oh, I thought you said no. Right... Okay, I thought you said no.
I did, but I'm impressed. You are the right type of person for that. Oh my God, that's great. That's great.
And I'm even gonna try to pull off his things that he does. And it's not gonna go very well, but I'm gonna try.
No, Shawn, baby, it sounds like you're pooping. We'll work on it.
We'll work. I'll practice. I got a little time.
We'll workshop it. You've got time.
So yeah, I've got like a red tube and a framed
Declaration of Independence. Cool. That's cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I love that.
That's half of what I'm doing. The other half of what I'm doing is literally playing Tetris on the Game Boy version of Tetris, but on my big screen. I don't know why. I like the Game Boy version the best. I think because there are zero bells and whistles, but I'm not literally going to play it on a gray brick Game Boy because that's outrageous. So I'm playing Tetris Game Boy on a 50-inch television or however big it is.
And just like the Soviets intended.
Just how the original guy whose name I'll think of later intended. By and large, other than when weather slightly gets colder, I always have like a little bit of sort of weather, I don't know, like a slight seasonal, I don't want to call it depression. I don't want it to mean something that other people actually suffer from, and I'm just over here like complaining. When the weather gets colder, I'm never quite as good.
You might actually suffer from it, Shawn. You always discount yourself, but you might also be.
I don't want to demean it. I want to take it seriously. I don't like cold, and even though right now I'm totally comfortable, but it's right around the corner, so I don't like that. But otherwise, personally, I'm great. Thank you so much for asking. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, bud. I'm ready for cold weather. We've had our windows open. It is cool. We are freezing to death at night, and I am living for it. So I'm very happy.
I am a snuggler, so when it gets cold, you open up the windows. I like having quilts. I like doing the snuggles. So that's a win for me. I'll take that as a win.
Listen, gay, straight, whatever. Snuggling is...
You either like snuggling or you don't, and I do.
I like it. I don't think my boyfriend does. He tries to kick me off, but I'm like, I'm going to spider monkey onto you so hard.
I'm going to come at you like a spider monkey.
You're not getting out of here.
We We both do when we're awake, but then we don't when we're asleep. When we're actually sleeping, we don't want to. So somehow we have to like fall asleep and then separate. I don't know
Yep,
how that
I
works.
feel you. Nope,
Yep.
makes total sense.
Jesse, before we jump into the episode, you wanted to note something quick about the upcoming releases that are in store for Pokemon fans.
I did. You folks, all you may not know this, but dear Shawn, when is your birthday? Tell our listeners.
On November 19th, 2021, I will be turning
Shawn,
32 years old.
as you turn 32, do you know what else is going to be birthed into the marvelous world we live in?
Hopefully, the Grand Theft Auto remastered trilogy for the Switch.
No, quit talking about it. He knows what I'm talking about.
I was trying to set you up for something big.
We're gonna have Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Their initial release date is Shawn's birthday, which is incredible. So believe me, we're going to be talking about this a lot more as
It'll essentially be 3 weeks from today.
It's very exciting. We're almost there, and guys, just get ready to explore. Oh my God, Hoenn
region. I never knew how to pronounce it.
Oh, I don't remember.
And Jesse, you got
not Johto because the Pokemon Company is wants to punish, especially me, but that's fine. I'm excited. We have got great things on the horizon because we have Arceus not long after that. So,
which I'm even more excited for. No offense to those two games, which will be great.
Fair.
But Arceus is new and fresh. You know, it's exciting.
Lots of exciting stuff. Lots of exciting Pokemon stuff on the horizon. And if you're following Pokemon stuff, there's been a brand new release of cards lately. My boyfriend and I were at Target the other day, and you know what? For the first time in literal decade.
Singular?
I'm not that old.
Decade.
The Pokemon card shelf was picked clean.
That's awesome.
And I was, you know what? I felt great about that, Shawn, because Pokemon is the gift that keeps on giving. So
it is.
I feel good. That's all I'm saying, guys. I love it, and it continues to give.
You've got to let me hype up Grand Theft Auto just a second, though, because you have to understand when this game, it will have released 20 years ago, number 3, Grand Theft Auto 3, the first one that was open world and horrible, violent, and all that stuff in a 3D perspective. And it's the perfect age where kids my age were convincing their parents to buy it, even though we shouldn't have it. Right?
I did too. I had it too.
Right? And so it's the perfect age where that was us then. We were too young for it then. And now we're too old to have a Switch now, but we do.
How many prostitutes I slept with?
So many. I needed the health, and that's the only functional reason, I swear. But now, so we were too young for it then. Now we're too old for a Nintendo Switch, but we're going to be playing it on a Nintendo Switch. I think there's a beautiful poetic justice to that. Okay, that's my spiel.
Full circle.
It is, and the fact that it's on Nintendo console is just awesome.
Weird,
right. I love it. Only Chinatown Wars, as far as I know, is the only one that's had a proper physical release on a Nintendo console, and even that one was much different. That was much more like a violent business sim than it was a true. Not that it's bad, but different. I'm rambling. I'm so sorry. And this one's already going to go long because this episode is jam-packed, right. And also because I'm really excited about our pokedjacent topic. I'm so thrilled. Jesse,
jam-packed, guys.
Jesse, get us back on track here. I'm killing us.
What is the episode title again, Shawn?
It's Haunter versus Kadabra with an exclamation point.
The only thing that does not happen in this episode is Haunter versus Kadabra.
Basically.
So this whole episode is a setup for disappointment. You are edging all the way here, and you're going to have blue balls at the end of this episode because it does not give you what you are supposed to get. So Haunter versus Kadabra, another Pokemon masterclass in deadbeat dads who go out for Pokeballs and never come back. Our trio returns from Lavender Town where they've gotten Haunter. He teams up with Ash. It's very funny because Brock is scared of Haunter. Misty's actually into Haunter, which is fun because Misty's afraid of every Pokemon until Haunter licks her and paralyzes her, which is peak comedy. We get back to Saffron City. Ash is intent on challenging Sabrina again. They get into Saffron City, and who do we have as lovely window washers but Jesse and James, who are lying in wait. So we get there. Ash, Misty, Brock, they head straight to Saffron City Gym. They go in, they're ready to challenge Sabrina. Sabrina's like, oh, you're going to try this shit again. And she again reminds them, by the way, you're going to have to play with me again if you lose. So Ash goes there and he's got Haunter and he's like, Haunter, go. Haunter's gone. So Kadabra's there waiting to fight. Sabrina's getting pissed because it is a Pokemon League sanctioned match and there's no other Pokemon. It's just Kadabra. So Ash decides to do the only thing that makes sense: run. So after throwing out Pikachu, Squirtle, Charmander, Bulbasaur, none of them willing to go against Kadabra because they know how scary Kadabra is. They run. So our gang tries to leave. Sabrina telekinetically closes the iron doors, like a mall. It's closing. They can't get out. Sabrina's doll creature catches up to Misty and Brock and turns them also into scary little dolls. And of course, this mysterious figure shows up and says the best thing to do sometimes is to retreat. And he takes Ash and his Pokemon out of there, while Misty and Brock are put into the dollhouse with another mysterious figure, a woman who seemingly knows Sabrina. Meanwhile, Ash is talking to this figure and he's like, you know what? I had a Haunter, but I don't know where he went. And finds out that this person is probably a photographer because he has a picture of Sabrina, and in Sabrina's dollhouse she had a picture, the same exact picture. So it's probably a photographer. And so Ash goes looking for Haunter to find him because he knows that's probably the only way he can fight Sabrina. Team Rocket, window washing, they're ready to throw their net on Pikachu, capture Pikachu, and Haunter knocks them down. And then while Jessie is holding onto them in a very funny moment because she determines, you know what? All of us could die, or you two could die. So James, you should let go. Haunter makes her laugh eventually, and she falls. They all fall through the concrete. It's very funny. And then Ash is like, Haunter, you saved Pikachu. Thank you for doing that. They go back to the gym, and of course, what happens? Haunter again disappears. And Sabrina's like, you know what? I'm going to turn you into a doll. Fuck you. I'm tired of this. And Pikachu, in a very brave moment, because Pikachu's the best, says, I don't want you to be turned into a doll. And Pikachu goes up against Kadabra again. And Pikachu is vicious. And his Thunderbolt is so powerful that it knocks the shit out of Kadabra. But Kadabra knows Recover, which is a move that is more often shown in the games, not the show. But it totally repairs Kadabra. So while Pikachu and Kadabra are going at
And
it,
it's such a heart-wrenching moment, Jesse. You thought
It is.
the emotions that
Pikachu
young
got
Shawn felt were maybe my first heartbreak. Maybe.
You thought Pikachu had it. You thought he had it. Recover happened. Who among us have not been a victim of Lorelai's dugong using Recover, which happens a lot in the Elite Four?
She might be my least favorite.
Oh, but she's hot. Anyway.
That's fair.
Distractions.
Hot women are distractions.
Kadabra's recovered. Haunter shows up there and he's making silly faces at Sabrina over and over and over again. And everyone's like, what the hell's going on? As you would too. And Sabrina slowly smiles and laughs. She hasn't laughed in so long because laughter truly is a healing medicine. And because of that, she's telepathically connected to Kadabra, who's also rolling on the floor laughing. So technically, Mysterious Man shows up again. Pikachu wins because Kadabra is incapacitated because he's laughing. So Ash gets a Marsh badge. We actually barely hear Sabrina speak, which is very weird for someone winning a badge, but whatever. So Ash gets his badge. Misty and Brock are freed. Sabrina's happy again. She's broken free of her training and her psychic focus, and that's the story.
Beautifully recreated by the masterful Jesse Lobbs.
It is absolutely ridiculous. This whole episode is insane.
It's a gem of an episode. I love everything. I love Haunter licking Misty, and it paralyzes her, and then Ash goes
I took
from "you paralyzed her"
so many
to
notes
"it's
about
not a
this
big."
episode.
I just tried to show Jesse. I keep forgetting Jesse can't see me. Yes, I also have a whole page full of Harry Potter journal notes. No, and then Ash is so casual. He's like, "You paralyzed her, but it's not a big deal, Hunter." Ash's stick with Sabrina's dad, where he's like, "You must be a photographer," and then later he's like, "You saw her when she was a baby? That must mean you took her baby pictures too." And I love it. It's so dumb,
We
and I love
have
it.
to remember that Ash is 10 years old. I
Yeah,
know there is, however, I hate when shows say things like that because no matter what they say, I will never believe Ash is 10 years old.
I
I know 10 years old, like 10-year-olds, they do not go, they're smarter than this. I do think Ash, like in my mind, Ash is like 14 or 15.
and when I was 10 years old, I was still, I don't know, I think I was still doing the devil bunny loops to tie my shoe instead of tying them the proper way. The my favorite parts of this episode are, or favorite part singular. You know what? Two. No, is Team Rocket's pitch with the net being the greatest weapon of all time to catch Pikachu, and it's just a regular net. And also, they're just up on scaffolding for not like a whole lot of reason. Are you even certified to be up there? And then number two, and Jesse, this is very important because this is why, one of many reasons why Haunter is my favorite ghostie. If you listened last time, you might know that. Haunter is my favorite ghost of all time, is when he's trying to make Sabrina laugh, he does this thing where he licks his own face off and pulls it into his mouth, and then he
Oh, it's
sticks
very
his tongue
good.
out and his eyeballs juggle around. And then, so first of all, I laughed even this time. I laughed so hard.
Very Bugs Bunny. It's
It
very
is. It's
funny.
so Bugs. And then to make her laugh, it's not even a joke. It's just a bomb. It's just an actual bomb. It blows up. It's a physical bomb. It's not a ghost bomb. It leaves an effect physically, like she's got the little cartoon burn marks. It's just a bomb. It's not even a joke. And that's what puts her over the edge. And the kid, I thought that was the funniest thing ever. Like, the jokes aren't landing. Better
I
pull out the dynamite.
I will tell you, I laughed so hard at Jesse and James and Meowth on the stupid
So
scaffold,
stupid.
getting terrified by Haunter again, and then Jesse holding onto it, and James and Meowth being like, "Oh, please don't let go," and Jesse's like, "You have to think of it this way: one of us could live, or all of us could die. You should
I'm the
let me
designated
live."
survivor.
That was amazing. I laughed
It
so
was.
hard.
That was like
Um,
clever comedy. So if Haunter is like slapstick sticky comedy, theirs is actually kind of clever, and I really enjoyed it.
it was very intelligent comedy, and like you said, Meow being like, "Wait, I'm the designated
I'm the
survivor,"
designated survivor.
and Jesse was like, "No, no, no."
Oh, it's
And then like
great.
Haunter still trying to, like, he could have knocked her off easily, but he doesn't choose to do that. He wants to make her laugh.
Hmm?
Um, so he tries, and eventually Jesse lets go because she can't bear it anymore.
I
Oh,
love it. And it's
it's
such a
so
stark
silly.
contrast to, like, again, you just felt in this episode, you have already felt legitimate heartbreak, horrifying terror. Ash's friends are now dolls again, and they run into Sabrina's mother as a doll, which raises the question: her dad rescued them, but never the wife. Was she like a naggy wife, a sitcom thing?
Again, deadbeat dad.
Deadbeat
These
dad.
dads
He's
suck.
garbage. And so it's just such a stark contrast to all the, like, there's other, like, terror and heartbreak and excitement energy. You've got a great match going on here, and then you've got these Haunter antics breaking this thing up. Haunter disappearing again, another moment of just pure heartbreak when he disappears again. It's
Again, blue
so
balls. The
blue
episode
balls.
title is Haunter versus Kadabra, and like, no, it's really Haunter versus Sabrina. Like
It
like,
is.
he doesn't even worry about Kadabra. He goes straight for. And like one really weird thing about this episode, which is never confirmed, and I feel like it is later, kind of, is that again, Haunter, he's just there to help Ash. He's not one of Ash's Pokemon. It's very weird.
Never enters a Pokeball, never caught,
It's a
never
very
Pokedexed.
it's a very like And this is why Ash, for me in this episode, gets an F minus because
You all you needed to do was Pokedex that guy so that you could keep the
all
hunter and
all
help
you literally needed to do was throw the Pokeball, which is the one thing you know how to do, as we've
a
all
little too
seen
well.
a million times.
And there was no information on the Pokedex, but you could have done good. Instead of catching a Krabby, and everybody in the world knows what a Krabby is, you could have caught this hunter and provided valuable information.
The smallest Krabby.
Which is the least amount of information, logically speaking. You could have actually contributed to the world. Jesse, I'm going to be a smidge more lenient because I think the way that he goes back to try to rescue his friends is valiant, and he does try to put up a fight with that hunter. I'm very upset at him for the whole hunter thing. I'm still going to go a D, though, because I'm pleased at his other attempts.
I'm very annoyed at him this episode.
I'm very mad because Haunter would make a stellar addition to any Pokemon team ever, period. But I'm going to cut him a little slack because he put up a valiant fight, even knowing that he was as good as gotten. Jesse, it's a marvelous episode full of extreme ups and downs and comedies and sads and goods, and it's a gem of a trilogy.
Again though, I get so annoyed at this constant Ash almost never beating a Pokemon gym leader.
He again gets a badge he does not deserve.
It again is a tradition of I found this Pokemon friend that's going to come back and make you laugh, so you have to give me a badge. It's just so it's ridiculous.
It's very dumb. But Jesse, we will crap on a lot of Pokemon episodes as we go through life, and we'll enjoy watching. That's why we do this. But mostly,
it's
they
still
are what
fun.
they are. But this one,
it's a gift.
I would pick these three out, and I would watch them just out of turn for fun. And I don't think I can say that for too many other episodes, at least in Indigo League. But these I will pick out to watch. These and the Ditto one where she can't get her Ditto to fix the stupid face.
I will say, out of these three episodes, I loved them all because I think I had the same VHS you had, Shawn.
I believe so.
But the Tower of Terror, the last week's episode, that's my favorite from the three.
It stands alone the best.
It's just so silly and stupid and fun, and it doesn't give in to this there has to be some kind of stupid Pokemon logic so Ash wins. It's just silly. I prefer that, I think.
This episode depends on the other two. The first one, there's no closure without this one, but the middle one, you really can just watch it and be like, this is a dumb fun Pokemon. That's last week's Tower of Terror. We had a lot of fun covering it. We hope you enjoyed listening to that. We had a lot of fun covering this one, though, too, which is still a solid episode, even if Ash, again, by bad logic and poor everything, manages to win another badge. But I think, Jesse, if you will, that's enough Pokemon talk. Let's jump to something else, shall we?
Let's.
In this week's Pokedjacent segment, our not persuasive and barely informative, just purely homage-y Pokedjacent topic, we want to talk just a smidge about Goosebumps because it's Spooktober. It's October 30th. It feels right. I would like to give just the stupidest level Wikipedia high level intro to Goosebumps. That it was 235 plus children's horror fiction books from 1992 to till today. If you count spin-offs, they're still kind of going. It's cumulatively the best-selling series behind Harry Potter. So cumulatively, there's 230 of them or whatever, so that kind of makes sense. It's, as you might guess, it's inspired by the old Tales of the Crypt comics. There were several kinds of TV shows and things, but I think the most common TV show that you and I will remember is from 1995 to 1998, and it had a killer opening soundtrack with a really stupid opening video, and I'm going to put part of that in right here. Yeah, so killer, it's iconic. The music is great. The dog's eyes turning green and the barks with it are stupid, and I love it. And then it overall if I have one regret, it's that we probably should have done Are You Afraid of the Dark first. I didn't realize until I was reading up on this a little bit that Are You Afraid of the Dark came first. And it's not to say that it was the first children's horror or whatever, but it came in like 90, and then Goosebumps books started in like 1982, and they were powered by Scholastic. Scholastic was just plastered full of Goosebumps, and they were working together, and it was great. And then Scholastic eventually got Harry Potter and didn't really need Goosebumps anymore. But that's sort of the rise of Goosebumps. Jesse, I was hoping if you would tell me about some of your favorite memories, or maybe your favorite Goosebumps books or TV episodes.
Yeah, I mostly remember. I don't remember the TV stuff very well, but I do remember because even when I was in elementary school, which is like 1996 through 2000 and something, Goosebumps are still incredibly popular, and I remember reading several of them, and that was like one of the popular. It was one of the ones that, like, even though it was like by the time I had book fairs, Scholastic was still selling reprints of Goosebumps books because it was still popular. So often I would get, I'd get like my Artemis Fowl books, which is usually the big thing that I wanted.
We will cover Artemis Fowl in a pokedjacent someday. Absolutely. Sooner than later, probably. It's great.
So much better than Harry Potter, but we're not
Oh,
ready for
you
that conversation.
No, I'm about to mute you right now.
Well, that's true. Right, you're not ready for that conversation, Shawn.
I am, because I saw that movie, Jesse.
How dare you bring up that fantasy? That makes me so angry.
How dare you? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Anyway, apart from that terrible movie, I picked up Artemis Fowl books, and I picked up Goosebump reprints at Scholastic book fairs. And I remember like Say Cheese and Die is a big one. Night of the Living Dummy, Curse of the Monster Tomb, The Haunted Mask. Those are some of the big ones I remember. I'm scrolling through to remember which other ones. I also feel like there was a collection of, and I can't find any evidence of this, but I'm very positive it existed. There was a short, like a short story collection of Goosebumps books. And oh yes, I am right. There were also some like choose your own adventure.
You choose the scare.
Books. Yes,
I'm going to talk about those for a moment.
And I loved those.
I do too. No, let's talk about them right now, Jesse, because I love them.
Okay, we never read those at school because I think they were too scary.
Well, they don't qualify. Like, you can't really write a book report on a choose your own.
No, exactly. But I picked those up at yard sales mostly because my mother and grandmother were obsessed with those things.
Mine as well.
And I found those choose your own adventure Goosebump stories at yard sales, and I was like, yes.
It was a video game it could make me read, and I did the Peter Griffin from Family Guy thing where I keep my finger on the page just in case I didn't like what I was reading, then you flip back.
Yes,
my finger didn't leave the page unless you've seen it. And
if I died, I was going back, obviously, because
I think is fine. You're just supposed to be reading words.
Who wouldn't?
That's my favorite. That actually is my favorite Goosebumps memories. Is it was very conducive to a choose your own ending book. I totally interrupted you though. I'm sorry, but I'm glad we share that in common. Those are very important to me.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I really think that like that option or opportunity was really formative to my reading experience because that was the first time I had ever encountered anything like that. And of course, as Shawn hinted at already, the read your own adventure books is a very much like clearly that is a video game inspired, like without video games you would not have read your own adventures, like because that is a very
literal text adventure.
Yep, it is a literal structured adventure event that can happen in video games and happens all the time, but you don't normally get them in books. So putting that in book form in the early, like in the 90s and the early 2000s, I feel like was really formative to me appreciating the way video games work. I don't know about you, Shawn, but I think
same.
I think if I did not have those choose your own adventures, and it's only because of my age. If I had had video games first and then went to choose your own adventures, I'd be like, cool, sure. But because I had choose your own adventures and then went to video games, that made the video games more exciting because the choose your own adventures was so much, there weren't a lot of them. And then when I got like that video game influenced cultural text in an actual video game, I was like, wow, this is everything. And then the rest is history because video games suck you in because they're great. Um, yeah.
I will note these were probably most likely these were not like the first choose your own adventures, but I'm willing to bet that they were pretty early on in like choose your own adventures with like a popular franchise or in popular
Yep.
culture. I'm willing to bet that. I bet before this it was probably not that. It was certainly my first experience with them. I loved them. Same again with the TV show. I know Alone in the Are You Afraid of the Dark? You know, kind of what already existed in the young children horror or whatever, but that was TV. I don't know that there was other super horror books that kind of fit this mold. And so just a few other things I wanted to note though is that maybe Are You Afraid of the Dark walked so Goosebumps could run. A few things is that R.L. Stine was hyper formulaic. He had like a very specific, because like every good story's got a good middle and a beginning, a good middle, and a good twist. And I think that's one of his like common quotes. And so everything's very twisty, and he writes that way, and he just churned these things out like crazy. I don't want to go too much into the details because I'm not an expert, but if you like this stuff and you like Goosebumps, go search it. Wizard in the Bruiser is a podcast I listen to all the time, and they have a great Goosebumps episode, and I'm sure you can find other great Goosebumps episodes. So go check those out. Go check out the Fear Street movies on Netflix. So Fear Street was like R.L. Stine, I think maybe pre-Goosebumps or right when he was just starting somewhere in there. And he was trying to write more teen horror. And now Netflix has these three Fear Street movies that they released. And they are decent. I'll give them decent. So go check those out. And then I think the last thing I will say is that some of my favorites included, I wrote down The Night of the Living Dummy because that had this Slappy the Dummy who is kind of the mascot, if you will. And there were a couple of books and a couple of movies.
Terrifying.
We had the third movie, and I liked a couple of the books too. And
That's
then
scary.
Welcome to Horrorland was a fun book and episode. I said movie episodes. Welcome to Horrorland was a fun book and a fun episode. It had kind of a different twist on it. And then A Night in Terror Tower, where that one just stuck out because we just did Tower of Terror Pokemon last week, and that struck me as kind of funny.
It's important to know he's still writing.
He is.
R.L. Stine is still doing stuff. He's 78 years old, but still kicking stuff out. So you know what? If you liked R.L. Stine as a kid, don't let that stop you. Read it now. Read whatever you like. He's still kicking stuff out. He's still great. He has a lot of amazing perspectives about writing scary things for kids and also just horror in general. So check him out because it doesn't matter what age you are, and I feel very strongly about that. It doesn't matter what age you are. Just enjoy what you enjoy.
If we
He's
had to
great.
choose,
He's great forever.
if we had to choose your own adventure R.L. Stine book right now, I would go live stream read my way through it. I would do it right this instant. I wish I had one. Maybe I'll find one. I'm going to tie two real quick things together. Is that the Fear Street movies, which they are horror, but they're not really scary because it's Netflix and it's kind of geared at teens-ish, so they're not really scary. But just what introduced me to that idea was Dead Meat, was that pokedjacent we talked about a few episodes ago. He covered these three Fear Street movies, and then I did go out and watch them, and you can see the R.L. Stine inner workings there. Like, it's easy to tell, like, oh yeah, I can see that he created these back in the day, back before he had his formula down in a slightly different age group, but just tremendous.
Yep.
That's our pokedjacent topic this week. We hope you enjoyed some Goosebumps, or at least enjoyed a little homage to them. And as far as I can tell, that's the episode. We've gone way longer than I intended. I'll take the blame because I don't know how to shut up. Jesse, final thoughts.
That's our episode. Thank you for enjoying Spooktober with us. You know, one of the most ongoing things about Pokemon that Shawn and I both love is that a ghost type is one of the main types, and we get such like because we have that, we get so many great treats with episodes, stories, also like what like the kinds of emotional content that the Pokemon world allows us to interact with. And if you played the games, if you've been to Pokemon Tower and thought about dead Pokemon and ghosts, and it's like it's one of the earliest moments before the Pokemon movie where you think to yourself, "Wow, Pokemon." Even though it's a cartoon, even though it's all that shit, which a lot of people make fun of, like very deep, very emotional, very powerful. Thanks for enjoying it with us. It means a lot to us, and I'm happy it means a lot to you.
Happy Halloween. Ghost type Pokemon, psychic type Pokemon, and zombie monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Those are my big three.
Yes.
The Unizombie for life. Thank you so much for enjoying Pokemalarkey with us. Again, have a happy, safe Halloween. Jesse, you have a great Halloween as well.
You
And
have a great and safe Halloween.
let us know all your thoughts and feelings and whatever's down in the comments. We always appreciate it. We'll put some description, contact info down there as well.
Yep.
My name's Shawn. That's my friend Jesse Lobs. We'll catch you next time.
Sayonara.